Hey folks, Quill18 here. A few people had asked for a demo of Dragon Age 2, which is kind of silly because there's an actual demo for Dragon Age 2 available somewhere out there. But I have been playing it, and for a variety of reasons, I'm not going to be doing an LP for it at this time. But some people were curious about it, so I thought I would just launch a new game just to show people what it is. I've skipped the opening movies. There's some really, really incredible cinematics in this game. Very high quality, great voice acting all the way through. Just generally stupendous. But you know, if you really want to see that, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube or whatever. They're just worried about some like regional blocks preventing that from going through. Plus, it doesn't actually show the gameplay. Just the story is really, really good, and some people have said it's not quite as good as the original Dragon Age. But I think a lot of that is always the first game in a series always gets you in a certain way, and that will never be reproduced in the follow-ups. I'm pretty sure that if Dragon Age 2 had come first, and then the original Dragon Age came out, people would complain about, like, oh my god, I can't believe, you know, there's all this extra tedious stuff, and the story's really unfocused, and whatever, like, yeah, it's kind of a neat sandbox, but it doesn't tell a story the same way, and blah, 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 blah. People are always going to be like that. I'm very much enjoying Dragon Age 2, and it's definitely sold very well. Not that that's an indicator of anything. Anyway, so this is the very start after the opening cutscene, and this guy is telling a story about the champion, who is you, and he's recounting this story about what happened, and that's where you come in. Now, this is going to be, it's kind of serves as a semi-tutorial throughout this fight, which you're right in the middle of it. They're going to unlock a bunch of abilities and sort of give you a sample of all the kind of stuff your class can do. And then this bit will come to an end, and then you'd start normally with, you know, leveling up from level 1 and getting talents very, very slowly. So, let's start killing some Darkspawn here. We've got some Hurlocks. I've got some guy named Carter helping me. Carter's a, well, I don't know. I guess it doesn't actually matter because you find this all out pretty early on. Carter's actually my brother. And what's interesting is when I played through this game for real, I was playing a rogue. I'm playing a mage this time, but I was playing a rogue, and instead of having Carter, this fighter, with me, they gave me Bethany, my sister, who's a mage. So they try to pair you up with someone in this particular segment who is going to be a good match for you. But so let's get killing, and let's watch. How do I rotate the camera around again? Oh yes, let's watch it.
Be ready!
Aha! So that's pretty cool. I can just hit R to target the closest guy. Oh, they've unlocked the spell for me. So I'm going to target this guy over here, but I'm then going to hit 1 to activate my Winter's Grasp. I might have to run up for it. Nope! I'll just freeze him. Now these guys have no hit points, so they're going to die instantly no matter what. Oh, I got a fireball now too. Good, because these guys are starting to group up on me. So now I can target a person. It'll center on them, and this is helpful if they're moving because my person will keep tracking them as I'm casting, so that way it'll always be centered on this person no matter how long it takes the cast animation to go off. But I could also center it on an area, which is what I'm going to do right here. Actually, I should zoom out a little bit and just catch all 3 of these guys. This guy will probably run forward a little bit, so I'm going to center it kind of over here. And BAM! Yeah, that ain't bad. There we go. I think we'll get a little bit of dialogue here. I've got all the subtitles turned on.
We can't keep this up forever.
We've got dialogue here. Now, if you played the first game, the dialogue's a little bit different this time around. Everything's got a little icon next to it to give you an idea about the sort of tone that you're going to take. This is the sort of, like, peaceful, goodly. This one's going to be sort of a sarcastic, sort of roguish answer. This is going to be an aggressive answer. It's not good and evil. It's just it depends on the situation. But in Dragon Age, because you can be all these different races, classes, there's not actually voiced. Excuse me. So what you say down here is pretty much, you know, just the text, and it's quite a bit more verbose, and you just click it and then, you know, people respond to you. In this case, this is giving you a sense of what your character is going to say, but your character is actually fully voiced, very much like Mass Effect. That's because you have to play a human in this game. You can choose male or female, and you can choose warrior, rogue, or mage. But, you know, that way they only have to do 2 voices, the male voice and the female voice, and and you could fully voice act your character, which is kind of cool because the different questions, not only will he, or the different options here, not only will he just say something different, but the entire tone of the voice will change. It's kind of cool. So let's take the aggressive one, just see what he sounds like here.
We'll take the bastards down with us.
Yeah.
Here they come. Shall I give them a taste of my blade?
Oh, see, and here's another example of some of the options. I'll deal with them. Excuse me again. God, my throat is just messed up here. I'll deal with them. The 2 crossed blades mean I'm instantly going to go into combat and just, you know, have to start fighting them. And, you know, sometimes you'll have, like, you'll be in a situation and be like, oh, I can say this, or I can say this, or I can be just like, fuck it, I'm going to kill you. And then you'll see the crossed blades. The Do It here has this green head icon, which means you're sort of letting one of your party members take over in this particular segment. What normally happens in most situations, your guy will actually go over and, like, ask a question of one of your companions. Like, hey, you know, so-and-so, what do you think of this? And the person will give some feedback, which, you know, can change the outcome of the whole situation, but a lot of times will actually get your party members to like you a little bit more because you're valuing their input. I suspect in this case it might cause my brother here to actually do the combat. Let's see what happens if I say that.
All yours, brother.
Whoa! Yeah, okay, that was pretty effective. So now I just got a whole bunch of new abilities. Crushing Prison, so that'll trap someone for a certain amount of time, plus do tons of damage. Mind Blast, which is a short-range AoE centered on myself, that knocks people back and stuns them. Firestorm, that sounds like a lot of fun. I think I'm going to use that. And a Cone of Cold. Let's Firestorm. Nice big radius, and we'll drop it somewhere around here, which should catch these guys. And actually, if I run over to the left, these guys might walk into it as well.
Quick! Man drops, they guide you! Now we
oh, fireballs keep dropping. Nice. Okay, we're gonna Cone of Cold this guy. Oh, you can see my radius here for the Cone of Cold, so actually let me move up here. Oh, yeah, nice. And we'll Cone of Cold these guys. You know, obviously this is pretty dramatic effects and spells. Now, I think at this point I actually have it probably defaulted to normal difficulty, which is a cakewalk. Well, this scene I think is meant to be a cakewalk. The story being told is that you're like so hardcore and amazing, and obviously everything's going to be super easy. But normal play is actually relatively easy in general. It's meant to be fairly accessible. Although there are still some fights that you will probably lose on normal, and definitely some fights where you will at least have 1 or 2 of your party members knocked out. Hard becomes considerably hard. You do have to use a lot of strategy in the gameplay. I'm in playing my game on hard, and I feel like I'm pretty good at this sort of thing. And there are not very many situations where I feel like I have to take direct control over my other party members, but I did spend a lot of time setting up really good tactics for them. And then Nightmare is like super hardcore, and friendly fire is enabled. So no friendly fire on hard or anything easier than hard. I think that's one of the differences from the original Dragon Age. Normal and casual didn't have friendly fire, but hard and above did. But hard, you can't hurt your own party members. But there's a lot more sort of AoE flashy spells in this time, so they were able to sort of give you more of these, I think, because there wasn't going to be as much friendly fire. But Nightmare, yeah, I can't even imagine what that would be like, because there's some fights I couldn't beat on hard. I had to knock it down to normal, and I still had a really hard time. And then after the fight, I'd put it back up to hard, just to keep everything interesting. But yeah. Let's try the Mind Blast. We'll walk into the middle of these guys and then Mind Blast them. Bam! So it didn't actually do any damage, you can see. But Mind Blast had Physical Force 18x. Okay, 18 times Physical Force. It also does threat reduction, so people are less likely to come back and attack me. Very good defensive tool for a mage. And of course the stun chance. But the Physical Force is a really interesting one. A lot of spells, probably the Fireball. Well, Elemental Force 4 times. A lot of these spells have knockback effects built in, and that includes various melee attacks for your melee characters. So you get these really cool knockback effects, and you can use that to give yourself some space to manipulate the battle around. Also, it's really nice to knock down mages. Like I think one of my backstab abilities on my rogue has a tendency to knock people down if they don't have a lot of physical strength. So I use it to sort of, it's a kind of a half teleport move where I just, well no, I think you like throw down a smoke grenade, basically. It effectively works a little bit like a blink. And then you just stab them in the back so hard that it sends them flying. It does lots of damage, but it also knocks them down, which keeps them from casting spells for a little bit. So it's really good at taking out those squishy characters. More strength-oriented people tend to have more fortitude, and they're much more resistant to these knockdown effects. So it's not going to work as well for them. And that plays into your characters as well. If you're playing someone relatively lighter, you're going to get knocked down a lot more than your tank guy. So, let's crush and prison someone. This guy. And now, I don't have to target them first. I like to do that. I have them targeted with an attack, and then I click my spell. But if you didn't have anyone targeted, I don't know, can I just hit escape to untarget? I guess I can just... No, I don't know. I don't know how to do it. But if you don't have anyone targeted and you click your spell, you just get a little targeting reticule. But I'm going to try to crush and prison this Herlock. Wow, just gibbs him. Do you see that? I just ripped his torso apart. Against someone with more hit points, he would have been just paralyzed for a while it's slowly being crushed. Although it certainly seems like one spell is likely to just kill these guys. Also, if someone got into melee with me, I would do really cool staff combat. I suppose I should try to do that. Well, maybe I don't want to melee this, actually. And I don't even know if I can crush and prison him. Let's try the crush and prison, just to see. Nope, he's immune. And we've got some more help coming, so let's just firestorm this whole area. So, oh no! Oh! He fell! He was going to charge me, but I think he got knocked down by my partner here. Oh, that's so awesome. I wonder if I can freeze him. Nope, he's immune to it. Well, he might be slow. I see, he's being knocked back slightly by my spell. He actually staggered there. Elemental Force ×2. He can't be frozen, but he's staggered back from my spell, which I think is super, super awesome. Let's see if he does it again. Nope, that didn't really stagger him. But anyway, okay, let's melee this guy and see what it's like. Whoa, that was neat. Ah! Getting, oh my god. Am I about to die? Yes, I am. I don't have any potions. That's not good. I'm probably not supposed to die in the starting part. I wonder if I can knock him back with this. Nope. Oh, he's gonna charge! Ah. Oh! Just spelled him in the face. I guess that one was enough.
There's no end to the...
Nicely gibbed. There's no end to the... Craziness! What are we gonna do? If you played the original Dragon Age, this dragon should definitely seem like a big honking bee. No, you may not know exactly.
Bullshit. That's not what really happened.
Does that not match the story you've heard, Seeker?
See? Story mode.
I'm not interested in stories. I came to hear the truth.
Well, what makes you think I know the truth?
Don't lie to me. You knew him even before he became the champion.
Even if I did, I don't know where he is now.
Do you have any idea what's at stake here?
Dun, dun, dun.
Let me guess. Your precious chantries fall into pieces and put the entire world on the brink of war. And you need the one person who could help you put it back together.
The champion was at the heart of it when it all began. If you can't point me to him, tell me everything you know.
You aren't worried I'll just make it up as I go?
Not at all.
You'll need to hear the whole story.
Ta-da! So, what's interesting about this game, the original Dragon Age, and there we go, now we get into the actual character creation mode. It's like, it was so weird, because I clicked on, the first time through, I clicked on my guy to be a rogue, and it right away went into the gameplay. I'm like, what? What? That doesn't make any sense. Why can't I customize what happened? And then, that's why, it's this whole sort of introduction. But, okay, the original Dragon Age, it was more or less linear, right up until you finished Ostragar. And then you had the whole world to walk around in. And then ultimately you got to a certain point near the very end, which I'm not going to spoil for anyone, where the big shit happens. It all hits the fan. And then you sort of do the end part in a more or less linear fashion. In Dragon Age 2, it works kind of differently. In that, of course, there's this sort of linear intro bit, just to sort of get you warmed up and get you your initial party members. That's pretty standard. And then it is set in a city, more or less. You can go on the outskirts of the city, there's a few places you can go, but you more or less spend the entire game within one very large city. But after you've reached certain points in the main plot line, the game literally moves ahead by at least a year of game time. So you're staying in the same geographic area, but you're moving forward through time. In fact, I believe the game spans like 10 years. And so you get to live this sort of story where everything changes around you and evolves based on what you've done before. And depending on how you did something in one side quest in the first act, when it comes back 3 years later, those NPCs, well, may or may not still be around, depending on exactly what happened. They may or may not have new quests, and the story all blends together in a really interesting way, and you actually progress. I always thought it was really cool the way that there was sort of the epilogue at the end where they tell you sort of what's happening to everyone. Well, here you get that, but you get that as you continue to play. So I'm actually a big fan of it. I like the original a lot. I like this one as well. I'm not going to say that, you know, this one's better than the other, but I'm also not going to say that it's any worse. I think they're perfectly valid gameplay decisions. Just there are differences. BioWare likes to do that with their games. They don't put out their game as just an expansion pack. You know, they sort of go and make some fundamental changes here and there, and, you know, expect something. It's just like Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2. It's the same setting. It's fundamentally the same game, but they make some changes. And some people are going to like some of the changes, some people aren't going to like some of the changes. But all in all, very high quality game, great story, lots of fun, and I like the uniqueness. There's something, this whole time moving forward thing is something I've never seen in any game, really. So kudos on that. Anyway, that's it. At this time, I am not planning a Dragon Age 2 LP in any way whatsoever, but there's a quick little demo, and if anyone wants to see the sort of range of faces, you know, there's pretty good variety, actually, in stuff you can do. Those are just the presets. And you've got your skin complexion, which is... Can I zoom in? No. Skin tone, tattoos, tattoo intensity and color, hair, you know, again, lots and lots of little options. Beard, oh, that is epic beard. And then even you get to choose your portrait that's going to be on your little icon here, so you can see in the top right corner. I mean, I don't know how well you can see, but you can turn this guy looking straight at the camera, zoom in, totally intense. Move the camera around. So, name, which is your first name. The last name is Hawk. Again, it's sort of the Mass Effect thing where your last name was locked in. That way, people could actually use it in dialogue. They don't just call you Warden all the time, Grey Warden, which works fine. But there's more. There's a specific personal story this time around. You do have, again, you have two siblings. You have a mother in this story. Things happen to all of them, and your family name, your Hawk name, is something that gets developed over the course of the game. I'm really trying to avoid spoilers, but that's the reason they chose these directions, as opposed to sort of a more generic, you're just some guy with some title. The events of Dragon Age Origins, so you can choose what the outcome was from 3 pre-built ones. There's the default, which is, I guess, the core of the game is based on this sort of idea, but then they have a couple of other options. This is basically what happened to the Grey Warden, what happened to the hero of Ferelden, what decisions were made, who lived, who died, that sort of thing. But then, of course, you can just import your save, which is what I did. Yeah, and start the game. So, super awesome. Anyway, that's all I want to do, and